Lance Schilling here with Behind the Pump with our integrity-driven motivational stories of Texas's best. We have an incredible story with Beau Jacobson, who really has had the ups and downs of all, from being overweight to being anorexic and finding out how to be comfortable in his own skin. His story's been featured in multiple places before, and I'm really glad we could have you out here. So, Beau, thanks for coming out here. I think your story is really unique and such a cool way of, you start out as a big football player and, kind of overweight, and then you go the opposite. So start me off with being bigger and how you felt and what made you go the other direction.
Yeah, so growing up, I didn't eat any worse than anyone else. I just ate a whole lot more. And I was almost 300 pounds in my
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
6'3", 300 pounds.
Yep. And I was playing football, and it was always kind of encouraged to be big. But in middle school and high school, that's tough years to be a big person. People said some things that stung, and I always laughed it off. And I think that's one of the things that caused the most pain.
So when people said things, even though you laughed it off, how did it actually feel?
Oh, it hurt, man. It hurt. It was something that I would go home and think about. When you're laying on the pillow and you're thinking about things that happened throughout the day, those were the words that stuck with me, not the positive things. And it was those moments that built up my insecurity. I was really insecure, but no one knew it. No one knew I was hurting because I was holding it all in. And that's what really did the damage, I think, mentally. And it was after I graduated high school, I decided I was going to lose some weight right before graduation. Football was done. I was done playing football, declined some scholarships, and I lost weight a healthy way at first, just healthy food swaps and just upping my cardio playing basketball. But then when I got to college, I saw a picture of myself, and I look back at it now and I realized that it was just a bad angle, but I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting big again. And that fear of getting big really drove me to the eating disorder. And so basically what I was doing...
When you say eating disorder,
right?
Which eating disorder did you
So I
have?
had binge eating disorder. I was on Mondays through Saturdays, I was eating about 600 calories a day, sometimes less if I could get through it. I was literally chewing on ice, things like that. And then on Sunday, I would just blow up and eat probably 7,000 calories. And then I would feel guilt. And I would start, and it kept going. And
So you felt guilt. What happened when you felt guilt?
I just felt like I messed up. Like I know I shouldn't have been eating what I ate, but I wasn't educated to know what to eat, what was the right thing to eat. I thought to be skinny, you just had to be miserable. To lose weight, you had to be miserable. That's what I thought. Because my whole life I'd been big. I didn't know. And I was running 3 miles a day, working out twice a day, and I was eating 600 calories a day. I was miserable.
At 6'3", 300 pounds.
By the time I started college, I was like 240.
240, okay.
So I got myself down to 155 doing that. And the scary thing is I look back now and I thought I looked good. And I realized I didn't. I looked like a starved dog. You could see my rib cage, you could see my vertebrae, my spine. It was horrible. And I wasn't happy either. That's the thing. I was like, looking back on it, why did I do that to myself? Why did I put myself? Well, it's because I didn't know what I was doing to myself. I thought that's what I had to do to achieve the look that I was going for.
Well, and the look that you're going for is attached to what you thought people wanted to see.
Yeah.
The things people had said to you before. So keep walking me through.
So I came home one summer. I was staying at my dad's house, and my mom and dad, they're the best. I mean, they loved me so much, unconditionally over my life, and always been that support system that I've had. And
your dad's even running for Senate right now. I mean, he's a true leader.
He's a great guy.
He's an incredible. I know who your dad is. He's incredible,
genuine, just loving.
And your mother as well.
Yeah, and I was staying at home, and you hear things from your parents, and you're like, yeah, right. That's just my overprotective dad. That's my overprotective mom. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. And they were the only ones really telling me, because some people were afraid. They thought I was sick. I had people come up to me and they said, you look skinny. And I was like, man, that's great. That's a compliment. But what they were saying, they were like, is something wrong? Like, are you sick? And I took it as a compliment when they were worried about me. They were trying to reach out, and I thought they were saying I look great. And I was home that summer, and I remember the morning. I was cooking some oatmeal that I was going to throw out because I wanted everyone to think that I was eating normal amounts of food.
So you're actually cooking food and lying about eating it.
Right. And then when I binged and I ate a monster amount of food, I would hide it in my room. I was eating in my room, secluded, trying to not throw it in the trash can that my dad would see. So I'd like take it in my car and take it to a friend's house, throw it away, or dump it at like Walmart or something like that.
So really, you're dealing with all these just on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, telling no one.
Yeah. I was miserable. And I repeat that word a lot because it's true.
Right.
The thing is, I was sitting there and my dad's looking at me, and the emotions that are going through his mind, I can't even imagine. But he starts telling me, he's like, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this. And I was like, what are you talking about? I look great. And the weird thing was, I went and took a fitness test where they like measure your blood levels and everything was okay. And then my cardio results were great. I was off the roof because I was running 3 miles a day.
Right.
But I was about to crash. And I had a doctor tell me that I was weeks away from critical medical conditions. My dad,
when that doctor said that, here you are, you think you're feeling great, you're getting skinnier. You used to be called fat, and now you're being told you're skinny.
And that's what I thought I wanted to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
So when that doctor tells you you're weeks away from critical problems, what's going through your mind?
Well, luckily, that was after I started training and getting my mind right. But it was eye-opening. That's when I saw the power in what I was really doing to myself, like the power in the harm. And so my dad was like, he asked me a simple question. He said, do you want to get a trainer? I will take you to a trainer. And what kind of 21-year-old guy says no to that?
Right.
They're going to pay for me to take to a trainer? Yeah, because I wanted to get in shape and add more muscle and all that. Like, I just didn't know how to do it.
Right.
And Justin Blevins is his name. I know you know him pretty well. And he really, the first thing he did to me is he never accused me of anything. He said, let's just educate you. And I really learned the process, like what you need, what nutrients you need for your body, how you do this. And it was great. And looking back on it, I always say the 3 F's. That's what got me through it. My faith, my family, and my friends. It's that support system, those 3 groups. Because, growing up in a churched home, I'm all about that, and I was active in church, and that's what got me through those low moments. But it was also the support of my family and my friends pouring into me, and I wouldn't have overcome it without them. And then with Justin's help, just educating me on what your body needs to function, because I didn't know that.
Right.
I wasn't doing this to starve myself. I was doing it because I thought it's what I had to do.
Well, and at the same time, it's odd because it's being confused with self-control and hard work. Right. Even though it's hard work in the wrong direction,
right.
Self-control in the wrong direction, it feels right,
mm-hmm.
but really there's better ways.
Yeah.
So you went from being called fat, which you hated, to being
mm-hmm.
called skinny, which you thought was what was good.
Right.
And now your dad says, I'm going to get you a trainer and we're going to help you. If you want to be fit, we're going to help you do it.
Yeah.
So what happens then?
So I started training almost every day. Back in college, I was doing it kind of distance, but phoning, calling Justin, texting Justin. And just he was alongside me the whole process, but very instrumental in helping me educate myself and train in the right ways. And I looked at him one time I was home from break, and I was like, he said, what do you want to look like? And I said, well, I want to look like those physique competitors. And he goes, well, then you better do it, because if you don't set your goal to that, you're never going to reach for it.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
So whenever he says that to you, how did it make you feel? Did it make you feel like it was too far away, or?
I mean, part of me was overwhelmed by it, but really I trusted in him and my support system and the community at the gym that was right along with me the whole time, raising me up. And I was like, okay, I know these people know what they're doing, so let me trust them and see what we can do.
Right.
And so that was the following fall. That was about a year into the process. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And so I ended up finishing that semester at Tech. I was able to come home and take classes online my last semester of college. And he said, you're doing Europa.
Wow, it's a big show.
And yeah,
It's a big show.
yeah. And at first I'm thinking, what? It's me? Huh? But it was that same, it's funny you mentioned it, it's that same determination I had when I was not educated correctly, that when channeled correctly led me to do the things that I did.
Right.
And I ended up placing in that show.
In Europa.
In Europa. And it was the cherry on top to my story. Because people ask me all the time, if you could go back, would you change what you did? I said no. Because I'm the person I am today because of what I went through and what I learned in those moments when I was at my lowest, but at my highest. But I would never wish it on my worst enemy, and I would never go back in time and live it again. I think those moments where we learn things, and that's what shapes our character, and I'm happy with the person I am today, I would never want anyone to go through that. And if someone's going through that, I want to help. That's why I share my story. My name is Beau Jacobson, and this is my story.